on display, so when you go in, you'll see some of those. But this is interesting photo because it's been hanging here on the wall since 1903.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Now, he had chair rails put in on all of the walls because behind here is adobe brick that they made from the land below us. So this is just plaster over adobe brick. So yeah, if you put a nail in there, it's not going to go into brick. So, and it will cause the plaster to fall off. So they put chair rails in for all of the pictures in the house. And you'll see some places where people who lived here after him tried to put a nail in the wall, and you'll see there's a huge hole in it. Where, see it, like he's coming back saying, I told you so. So this here is the superintendent's office. Here's a photo of Mr. Frizzell, which was Kearney's first superintendent of the Fruitville estate here. And this is his office. So Mr. Frizzell's office is this one. He was the land owner, or well, the land superintendent of the Fruitville estate. That out there is the Fruitville estate. There's still buildings left out there from the original colony. So we had men's colony, we had a barn, blacksmith, and the original country store, the lumber yard, which is still there. That's what's still there. Here is the, I need a pointer. This right here is the tea house, which has now been moved to the middle of the park. It's that white building, the large white building now. But it used to be there because Kearney fed everyone here in the park. If you worked out here, he didn't build you a kitchen in your house, so for fire purposes. So there was a men colony where the men all lived together if they didn't have wife and children, and then there were single family homes throughout the colony, but the single family homes, most of them didn't have kitchens either. So they would all come over to the kitchen area, which is the back building. This house has no kitchen either. And they would have gone down below the building, and they had like tables set up down there where you could communically eat. And then also a lot of people would go to that tea house gardening place, and everybody would sit together and eat there or in the basement of that main house. So yeah. Here are some raisins on the ground, like I had told you how they used to grow them. Now we grow them on vines. Most of the time, the people who worked in you can see how it's just starting to grow up. Most of the people who worked the raisin industry here on the colony were Armenians. So those are the Armenians. Here's the cash store. We'll learn more about it upstairs. That was taken in about the 1930s. Here is the original Kearney Park draw up that was drawn up for placement of different crops and such. So as you can see on the back filing cabinet there were many different crops, not just raisins grown out here. And he actually would have the railroad come up to that lumber yard, and they would load up whatever they wanted to sell, and that would go back out. So he had his hand in many pots making money, quite from the beginning. This here is called a broadside. Mr. Kearney had this made up so that he could take it with him on his travels around the world to bring either people to work on the Fruitville estate or people who wanted to buy land. So this was his sales ad. It's called a broadside. It's from 1889. So he's explaining to potential buyers, 20-acre farm, Fresno, California, profit $1,000 to $3,000 a year, letting them know he has a office in the downtown Hughes Hotel, how it's a great success, so on and so forth. Here's a photo that he used on all his broadsides of his main castle that he was planning on building, but never got a chance to. So here is where we're at, but this is what he was building. And they actually broke ground for that castle. It is out there on Oak Knoll A&B Picnic Station. They have the foundation laid already. But once Kearney passed, right after that fire, and he went anyway on his trip, after he passed, he had no living relatives. Both of his parents had died at an early age. Yeah, both of his parents had died at an early age from alcoholism, and his brother died from tuberculosis at an early age. So Kearney never had any children, never had a wife, and both of his parents had passed. But if somebody, for say, came along and said, I'm his cousin, I deserve his land or whatever, he had a clause in his will that stated, if you come looking like you want something, you're only going to get $50. So the cousin only ended up getting $50. Yeah, kind of smart. So Mr. Kearney ended up, what's that? Yeah. So Mr. Kearney ended up leaving all of his remaining assets, the building, the park, everything, to UC Berkeley. UC Berkeley, he always wanted them to use it for agriculture somehow. And UC Berkeley said, we don't really need the land. It's a little far away for us, for our students. So they actually ended up having the Frizzell family, who was the superintendent of the Fruitville estate, stay here and run the colony until 1949. And once 1949 rolled around, things were getting easier travel-wise. We had cars then. People were getting further and things. The colony started